Hi guys. You're welcome again. I've got amazing people. We've got our guest right in here. And I'm gonna be introducing in a bit. And then I've also got my partner here. I mean, you guys know him already. So we're actually having a very nice time. We're outdoors today. It's actually a very nice weather. You want to do this, we want to do more outdoor and not, just the studio, all of the time. So yeah, I think it's actually good. We're going to be talking a lot today about some amazing stuff. Now, I should inform you that even our guest doesn't know what we're gonna talk about. Nothing. Yeah, she's got a clue, but she's gracious enough to actually join us. So I'm gonna introduce our guest, Amaria. Amaria, welcome. All right, so Amaria, I'm sure our viewers are gonna be wondering who you are. Of course, we're actually right here, Houston Christian University, good place to be, actually. But can you tell our viewers more about this?
Yes, of course. So my name is Amaria. I'm getting to know you guys more. Yeah, I'm Amaria. I am 20 something. No, I'm 23 years old. This is my first year here at Houston Christian University. I started in January, right semester, and my major is creative writing. And how I got here is simply the Lord. This is a testimony of stuff, so how I got here. And I'm blessed to be here. Go through trials and tribulations in life. But like Paul said, count it all joy when trials and tribulations come. So my focus is just like, okay, Lord, how do you want me to do this? How do you want me to carry on? So just being obedient to Him and just letting Him lead this. It's a process, it's a journey. Yeah. I ain't gonna say it's all peaches and creams and rainbows and sunshine, but it is worth it. I'm telling you in the process.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And I know that you actually grew up here in Houston.
Yeah.
Now, born and raised here in Houston, H-Star. Now, I know Houston has changed a lot. I was watching, some videos of Houston from the 90s, and then I saw the Astro World and all of that. I saw the Beyonce, era and all of that. I saw a whole lot of stuff that are actually not around anymore. So can you tell us a little bit about Houston, what you learned back from like 10 years ago? 10 years ago.
That's really interesting. And it's so funny because I've talked to a few people about it. I was like, how Houston has changed. Obviously, I was born and raised, so I lived in different parts in the Houston area. I lived in the good parts and not so good parts, but that's just part of my story. And I've seen it change. I want to say that the construction site does not change. They still be building the same stuff. I was 5 years old. Okay, that does not change. But everything else changes. Okay, they're just stay the same. I've seen how Houston has expanded over the years. More people starting to come visit. More people starting to come live here. And I'm like, it's super crowded. I've seen, like I said, things change. Things getting taken down. Things getting added. I know when Hurricane Harvey hit Houston in 2017, I live in the 8th grade, and a lot changed. Jobs were destroyed, and they rebuilt some things, but some things they tore down. So I've just seen a lot of the changes. And like I said, certain things still stay the same. And even with myself, growing up, with a big eye, being a little girl going to the Children's Museum and Herman Park and the zoo, and then now being older. And I recently went back to the Houston Zoo last week. I actually went Thursday again, actually, and it was cool after. So it's just experiencing things here that's life.
Don't crucify me, guys, for this. So the animals in the zoo, have they changed? Are they what's the changes that you saw, at the Eastern Zoo?
Okay, so let's say it had been a long time since I had been, but when I went to Houston Zoo, I go free because if you're a student here, you get to go for free. So I was like, okay, I'll take the opportunity. But it was nice. There's a lot of walking. The scenery is beautiful. The art and architect and stuff is beautiful. But the animals, they were okay. It's just it wasn't as many animals like I thought it was. Yeah. And of course things got more expensive, the food and the toys and the souvenirs. You get a souvenir that was $15 and that was $30. So
I do it twice. I actually want to kind of fade down. I love respect about the way he's speaking of changing, right? I kind of want to calm down the immediate response. not just like but deliberate changes and this will happen. But what have you noticed since being inclusive in terms of working culture and from in terms of what people used to believe in people and the way they carry themselves, their lifestyle, maybe those in the traveling, what have noticed the change it's like it's not long later, you know?
Well, that's the so that's far as like physical, also cultural. I see a lot of more churches being built, which I think is a good thing. But I also see I see a mix. I see more people going towards God, more like my generation, the Gen Z go towards the church, going towards worship nights and stuff, and trying to go towards revivals. And I also see my generation coming far from God, going more into the world and so it's a mix. I've seen both. I've seen who changed, like that culture change. I've said the Beyonce and all these things, but I see also seen an era of God, like how more people, young people want more of God and they love God and worship.
Right.
And like I said, on the flip side with social media coming into playing, also see how people can get so scooped and stuck into there and sucking these kids in the younger and younger they are. So I'm about to see it's a lot of change at the pride.
Yeah. What is I, just you said a lot of hurdles and well, and the part that you sort of supply all that with, oh yeah, so you said a lot of things right now. And the part that you mentioned concerning young people come to Christ, I think that's one of the most important things that I think I've made. Not like this. I know rumors that because he said something, and I don't know if you noticed that you said, but you said like to see people going towards Christ, and then there's just see people going far away from Christ. This means there's a
So the line.
yeah, so there's a right and there's a left. Now I want to kind of talk about the people in the middle, right? So from your experience, have you seen someone that call themselves a Christian, or from your perspective, they act like a Christian, but the doctrine where the speaker wanted to speak and talk about, they don't really trust us. Like they're nice, the talk girls, they're everything that you think that these things should be, but apart from that, you think the practice the hard glory maybe not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was me for years. We're gonna be transparent here, because here's the thing. I believe in being transparent. You come on these podcasts, certain people that come in like, oh, it's just for that person. But how about ourselves? It's about like self-evaluation. It says before you look at the log in your brother's eye, before you look at the speck in your brother's eye, look at the log in your eye. So I always talk to myself first, then everyone else, right? So this we thing, it's not just you and me, it's we. We're all in this together. For years, I struggled with being lukewarmness. I was at a church for 3 years that God had sent me to. This was like during the COVID era when everything started opening back up with the altitudes. And I wasn't trying to, and I was going through a lot of stuff during that time. I wasn't really trying to go back to church. I just had to stay home. I was struggling with severe depression. So I didn't want to go anywhere, right? My mom had passed. There was a lot was happening even before that. And the Lord had sent my dad to give me a word to say, hey, you're going to go to this church that I had visited a couple times before COVID. And during the COVID era, and then you be a leader, youth leader, and all these things. I'm like, whoa, like I'm a girl who's going to this. I just something not me. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. But then eventually, I ended up doing it, right? Yeah. And I joined the church, became a member. I joined the youth leadership. And it was God, because usually if you wanted to be a leader there, you had to go through this process. I just reached out to the youth pastor on Instagram, said, hey, I want to join. He was like, okay, see you next Wednesday. And I joined. So I didn't really have to go through the process like everybody else. So I know that was God opening that door. And it was good. I mean, and I joined the young adults, and it was good for the community-wise, because I definitely needed that, because I am a community person. And it was also good spiritually to go back to church, because it had been a long time since I've been in church and getting that word. And I was youth leader. I was serving when the doors were open. I mean, I was there at church Monday and Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, like Sunday, like I was there. But my heart was far from it, because I was portraying the godliness but denying the hard. There are something. I was going to church. I was writing good notes. I was leading the kids, but when I went home, it was a different story. I didn't have time for God. I was like, oh, let me hang out with the people from my church. Let me do this. Let me go to work. Like I worship the creation, which was the church, not the creator. It was the one that's sick in there. And even in my journey, now I go to a whole different church. God been to the ministry, and He's done a lot since then. But even then, sometimes I still struggle. But I always say, God, I'm here. I'm not giving up. I'm gonna come to the end. And that's what I'm saying, Lord, give me the longevity, Lord. So even the endurance, because I cannot do it on my own. You know your child, your dog, you know that I'm gonna flaw. You know that I'm gonna mess it up if I try them on. It's done many times. So Lord, the only way that I'm gonna get to this point, the only way that I'm gonna get where you want me to be is if you have to do it through me. I'm willing to I want to work with you. I want to work with you, Lord. But I can't do it on my own. I think it's just like recognizing the fact that we are weak without. And it's hard because we live in a world, it's like, no, we gotta be strong and stuff like that. Pride grew up like that too, but the only strong within the core. It says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And it says, do all things through me, Amaria, whoever. No, it says, all just get Christ. He's the one that gives us the strength. He's the one that gives us the breath. Like we're breathing right now because of Him, you know? So I'm walking through that journey as well. And I've come further from where I was. Yeah. But it's still a long way to go. You're still going to keep walking to the day of just because He's for you. He chastised those He right? So, I'm going through it, and I'm not the only one that's going through it, but I wanted to put myself in the hot seat because I don't want to just be like, because I've also met other people who are way more, who just like went to church, right? And served along with me as well. But they were like really out there. They were smoke, drink, all that stuff. And I wasn't doing that. It's just, I would spend time with Him. My heart was far from Him because I was going through a lot of stuff and I was distance, and I have gotten so much closer to Him, and I can always be more and more closer. But that's what He's told us. And it's still a journey, but I met other people and then myself as well.
I don't know if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, then, but I know the Holy Spirit is well on there. And not only that, but like, there are people who are listening to this one night, and they're finding they're getting that pseudo righteousness like what happened. And what you just said right now made me realize just recently the way I met her, you personally, was still damning. He's in the business to have him. And then today we just ran into her again. I tell the past couple times I come in and we see her. And I'm just not know this is not a coincidence, right? The story you just said right now, and I think that pretty much summarizes a lot of the young adults right now in our generation. Will when Jesus will Mary and Martha and he says, you're busy, you're doing so many things, you're busy with so many things, but the one thing that it needs we're not doing, where it's like you can be busy, you can be in the house of the Lord, from your mother's house of the Lord, where He is actually indwelling inside, the vessel of His kingdom. To come out, you just see the Lord. I've been when we end the church like now. I didn't even yeah. But now I kind of want to point that out. So now he went through what went through in the studios there, but just basically he's come out going and yeah, I know promo I know you probably don't know much about Samter here, but from your on the videos what do you say to submission right now for those who are in that meters? What very used to know what bring being what miss it up on your enthusiasm?
God cheers the golfer. God cheers yourself. It's about daily dying. Okay. Picking up your person dying daily. Dying to your my wants, my desire. It's a begging process. Like, okay, like for example, I met people that said, I'm here by coincidence, I'm here because I got this knowledge drop here because this is the place that gave me more money. I don't believe in coincidence. God is always gaman. He ordained stuff for a reason. You may think you're here because you probably got more money, you got scholarship or whatever, but you're here for a reason. Because if you weren't supposed to be here, you wouldn't have anything to rest. I mean, God is the all-knowing. Yeah. He's the all-powerful God. He controls everything. So at the end of the day, I don't believe in coincidence. I used to, but as I it's everything's to the mind of plum because I'm 23 and I've been home a short period of time, but I've been through so much in my teens needed. And I've seen this hand made. And literally that song, He moves the mountain and I believe He'll do it again. He has done it for me again and again and again. And there's so many testimonies out here of Him doing it. Even I'm going through my storm and my wilderness season right now, she's still moving. I don't deserve it. And there's times I'm like, I had complain and I'm ungrateful and stuff because see, we're in the splash, So that's unfortunate fallen nature, when Adam B's sin gets stopped, that was a fallen nature. So we complain, reflects about me, selfish, or what I want, what I desire. And like you said, I love what you said about Martha, she was so busy and she's like, Lord, Mary said, like, told her to help me. And he was like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's so funny because my dad and I actually just talked about mother that married and talking about resting the stair. Because, it can be a problem in community because in our generation, we like to go places. We don't like to go stay at home. Sometimes like to be outside. I like to be busy doing something, And that's me. I always have to be single, but it's like, just rest. I go to a church where we have church on Saturdays, the ministry I'm at. And shout out to my church, shout out to the God Training Church. But where we have ministry on Saturdays, right? Honor the Sabbath, and then we rest. That's the having, hey, honor more the Sabbath. But on Saturdays, that's the day I just do that. He's like, hey, let's just rest. You go to church and after church, just rest. And I had to learn that. Now, do I always get it right? God is still working on that. But I've been more honoring, like resting than like just sitting down and just like, it's just not practice. In my class, we talk about shalom. This be at feast. There's more shalom, more walls, more just sitting still. And that's what I've been telling my daughter. How do you just sit still more? I want to sit still more to hear you more. Because when I'm in my prayer closet sitting still and listening to them, it's just like that's a whole different good.
Well, it's like I know you mentioned that you've gone through several stuff, just kind of tree. There are a lot of people that are actually going for stuff as well. Where some of them are not even your tribes because they haven't gone through. And I know, and so about your mom, and either you mentioned he can passing that you already read the COVID, all right? If there,
Yes. And like I said, I tell about it. I'm an open book, so but what I'm going to do, okay, Lord, this is not about me. This is about whoever needs is there for people. Yes, my mom passed at the end of 2020, on November 10th, because when a month before my 18th birthday, because my birthday is December 10th, she passed away November 10th. So, she passed out from COVID before heart issues. She had a lot of heart issues. She was in and out the hospital for a year. And obviously, when you do someone, especially a parent at that age, you're wanting to young adulthood, that's a big dramatic change. It was already a big dramatic change that happened in the world where everything been shut down and locked in at the house, but then your mom passed and you couldn't really visit her at the hospital. Yeah. It was hard. But during after that situation, I got into close. It's like some people say when death or something tragic happens, you get more close to God. I've gotten more closer to God, because of God. Before, I've always believed in God, I always loved God, and I ran my Luna, but I got it more deep because know who He was. It was like when Moses knew, like He had to take Moses out into Midian, to the wilderness, right, away from everything he knew, and then he appeared to me. God literally appeared to you, like deep for who He really was. I am who I am. He appeared. I had that in time, that moment, and it's like, okay, all right, Lord. Was just like, and I still think I'm still learning. There's still things I'm still going through, like learning why this happened, why that. And I have to be okay that every question's for an answer. Some questions He's answered, but some not the answer. I may never know the answer, but I try to be like, though you slay me, Lord, I trust you, just like Job said. And that's been my spoon. Though you slay me, Lord, I trust you. Now, I'm not gonna say, is it always easy? No, right? Because we're trusting someone we can't physically see or touch, or we can't physically take a stone we win, But I'm telling you, He is so faithful. Like the people who I can tangibly see and touch, people I physically have abandoned me, right? But this God who I've never physically saw, but I can't physically touch. He touched me in places that I knew that I was so broken. And the real, He's there. He's faithful when I'm not faithful. I'm here and I don't deserve to be here. We don't deserve nothing but death. And He had to come in my slave. And so I'm just very grateful to God. And this is the beginning. I'm here. And like I said, still got some kinks to work, with the school getting accommodated to college. Like it's full. And it's been a couple of years since I've been in school, but just to be here. Yeah. Just to be here. And I'm like, okay, I'm finding my purpose. And yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just described is what Christian is actually. It's not a religion,
I think at some point you actually exercise to the standards as a religion when you're doing all of the activities that you are spending time with God, your heart does, far away from God. And that's not Christianity, that's religion. But what you just described right now is relationship, saying like Jesus is so real that it's not a deity, it's not some faraway thing, it's not some historical figure. Like he's so real, it's like he's right here, and we're not stupid to say he's right here because he's literally right here. We may not be able to see it in the natural, but then in the spiritual, which is more real than the natural. So he's right here. And I just want you to, to know that, and I have to share that, you mentioned that because a lot of people are practicing Christianity as a religion. I mean, a lot of people will go on TikTok, will talk about the Bible, so then their hearts are frightened and God will just be it from a place, after the reaction and all of that, but then they are not in a true relationship with Jesus. And when you're in a true relationship with Jesus, everything changes. It's never the same. It's not the same. And I appreciate that you mentioned how that the Lord sustained you through all of those times and trials, all of those times of sadness, all of those times where it's only Him that can give you comfort. Nobody else would have been able to give you that kind of comfort. And we have people watching us who are probably going through stuff or they've done through stuff and they weren't anyone and they are Christians, but because they didn't have a relationship with Jesus, they couldn't bear them, it couldn't carry them through those seasons, through those times when they are grieving or when they feel rejected. Probably they, apply to some job or some college, I might have got rejected or is there something? Yeah, and they couldn't be comforted by God or by the Holy Spirit, and now they kind of, are out there, just having anyone in the wall, So how how do we retrace our step back? When because I've been there, one time, and I think I was sharing this with some people. I think that was like earlier this week, and I was sharing with them that just one time I've been so disappointed in God. And I remember my mom asking me if I believe in God, and I said, don't because I prayed, I fasted, and I was still disappointed, as well. Like, if you really love me, you would have, maybe you would have young result. And I was a teenager then, the many, many years ago. Well, I'm grateful that I had a mom who told me, no, God is real, loves you more, this doesn't land determine whether I loves you or not, So how do we minister to those people, who are they kind of feel let down, like, well, but then they make sure we shows their side got you, well.
I think that's an awesome question, right? I think what you said, like if your mom, you had a mom that encouraged you. First of all, it's important into who you're surrounded by, the community. Okay, that's a big one because that's where one of the things why I would distance myself from God is because the people I had chose to be around, and God was like, no, don't be around them. Hey, distance. And I was like, no. And then and then when I got hurt, I was like, Lord, why? It's like, I told you. But the community you're around is the important people, like-minded people that should push. That can push, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't like, I don't want to talk about God. Even I'm not saying force themselves on you, but hey, it's like I'm praying for you in the gap. Give me a person. No, it's okay. You're upset this moment and it worked out how you wanted to, but let me hope, it's important to have like-minded believers, like-minded friends, even when you get married, equally yoked. That's why that is important. And I know but the same thing as friendship and relationship and marriages. So shout out to my mom. I should have offered out to my but the community people, number one, that's infinity. Number two, how we can also go back to it. So I've been there multiple times, just keep, like I said, die to yourself and cry out and keep, Lord. I say, Lord, I told the Lord, I'm angry. That's why I was so angry with the Lord, not just because when my mom's passing, but it was because even before that, my mom's relationship and I was not the best due to her end, and I felt abandoned. I didn't feel love. I didn't feel appreciated, and I wasn't at a lot of points. And I was like, I'm angry with you. I don't feel this. Why is it that these people get to do one for them on? And they're doing good, making money all this time. I'm struggling. And I'm just saying, I'm angry with you. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't really want to play. I didn't want to have nothing to do with God, anything like, and my heart was hardened. I remember about it. And it's been multiple times my heart was hardened because something didn't work out in my favor how I wanted it, right?